Hey, huge movie fanatic Nate coming at you in early March 2016 for a review of like a sci-fi early 80s New Line Cinema, what the hell is his name, Robert Shea, executive produced opus called, oh well, actually I don't know how to pronounce it. I can only assume it's pronounced Xtro. I don't know if that's the title or not. I actually had a movie review request from a viewer of my videos. He actually watched the Center and 3 movie and / Blu-ray review I did years ago, and asked or suggested I review this movie, which I can only imagine is pronounced Xtro, or at any rate that's how I'm going to pronounce it. A movie that I'd seen obviously back in the 80s. I mean, the video store, the videotape, the VHS cover in the video stores, all the way back into the 80s, 90s, everything like that. I'd seen this, cover obviously for years and years and years in the, I would imagine, sci-fi section of, any particular video store of the day. And it was a title that was completely familiar to me, and obviously the box was completely familiar to me, and something that I just, for whatever reason, I guess maybe, I don't know, it never interested me enough to actually rent it. I never actually saw this movie, which I'm going to pronounce as Xtro. I looked just on Amazon to see, and I think the DVD did come out, but it's currently out of print. It's like, there's copies of the DVD for like upwards of $70 when I last checked weeks ago on Amazon. And then like I so often do with titles that, I've been requested to see but haven't seen, I search it on YouTube, and luckily there was a complete, as far as I can tell, uncensored. I mean, there's even like full, there's actually topless women or topless woman in it a couple times. So from what I can see, there was a complete uncensored version of this movie, Xtro is how I'm going to call it, on YouTube for me to watch. So that was very cool. So without having to pay $70+ for the DVD, which I wouldn't have done anyway, I got to see Xtro for free here on YouTube. So let the review commence. Now, this movie looks like, apparently, it was executive produced by Robert Shea. I don't know if this movie was like, basically looks like it was shot in England and stuff like that. And I guess, I don't have a problem with England, but I don't know, I don't know. I don't know if he executive produced this movie from the get-go, or if he, finished it or just distributed it after the fact, but I don't know. I guess I don't have a problem with England. A lot of times, I like James Bond movies and stuff, but I guess I don't know why something about this movie taking place in England. I guess I just didn't expect it. It kind of, it's inexplicable. There's really no reason why it should be a problem for me, but that's something that I didn't really like off the bat about this movie. It's kind of a stupid complaint, but it's just, it's just what I experienced. It didn't really, first of all, I didn't really like that. The movie starts with some dad and son in the yard or something like that during the day, and it's kind of cool because then this UFO presumably appears and it turns to night, and well, that was kind of cool, and it kidnaps the dad, and I don't know how many years pass, but if it's like 2 or 3 years, and then basically an alien comes down, which we see, like it's basically on the cover, this alien comes down, and I don't know if it lands in a meteor. I can't remember that. I only saw this once on a, not too high quality YouTube video. At any rate, the alien comes out of the ground or whatever, and the alien is really kind of creepy because when you first see it, like you see it from the road, it's kind of got this weird four-legged, really a creepy ass like body structure where it's on all fours, and it's like pelvis is bent back. It's just like, it doesn't look, it's like, it's like a kind of a human shape, but the way it's on all fours is really creepy and alien-y and really creepy, and I was kind of digging it at that point. The only problem is, basically the movie, the movie doesn't, that's kind of like the only time, except for like the very end, which I think is a different creature, you really see the alien in that form. Basically someone pulls over, comes out, the alien tongue comes out and gets them in the eyes or something like that. The guy is dead, the woman drives off, the alien goes to the house. So I think the house at the very beginning of the movie where the father and the kid were, and the father was abducted from, I think it's the same house. The alien goes back to it 2 or 3 years later. I don't know if he's searching for the same family or what. Regardless, the comes across this woman who's staying, I don't know if it's the same house or not, maybe not. Anyway, he comes across this woman who's washing her hair in the kitchen sink or something like that, and basically decides to impregnate her, attacks her, basically screws her mouth with this little alien suction cup impregnator tube or whatever, and then we basically see later on in a very famous, from what I can gather on YouTube, there's videos of just this scene, rather quote-unquote famous scene of this woman then giving birth. I don't know if it's just hours later or a day later or whatever, giving birth to this guy, which turns out to be a clone of the dad that was abducted at the beginning of the movie 2 or 3 years before. So the movie just is basically like, you have, obviously, to sell the movie or rent the movie, you got the picture of the cool alien on the cover, and unfortunately basically the movie's kind of like Cocoon or Body Snatchers, where it's really not full of all kinds of cool looking aliens throughout the whole movie. It's like a human who's basically an alien, or an alien in a human shape, whatever the hell it is. I don't know if it's the consciousness of the dad. I only saw it once. I don't really know all the details, all the particulars. Long story short, dad comes, the mom and the kid are living, and she's got a boyfriend living in, I think, or visiting at any rate. And dad comes, or the alien dad comes back. They think it's the dad, the dad obviously coming back after 2 or 3 years, but it's really like an alien dad or whatever. Obviously the boyfriend's like, well, you're not going to stay here, you it's 2 or 3 years, you just walked away, and you think you're not just going to come back into their lives, and we got something going on here. Long story short, I wasn't particularly impressed, unfortunately, with what I'm going to pronounce Xtro. It was just, obviously with the alien on the cover and the opening credits with stars. And I will say I kind of like, the music's kind of goofy and synthesized and stuff, but I do kind of like the theme at the beginning credits and ending credits. I imagine which the director also did the music. It was like do 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 do. I mean, the opening credits really kind of set it up for like this sci-fi extravaganza with the stars and that cool, not so cool at the same time, synthesized sci-fi score. But it just turns out, just to be this movie that takes place in gloomy, cloudy, overcast England, and with the British mom and, American accent speaking boyfriend, and very, very attractive freaking French maid or whatever the hell she is, where we see her, chest twice. It's so funny about the little detail about that movie, because the only time we see her and her boyfriend together, we see them messing around. She has to answer the phone, and later on in the movie, the boyfriend comes over while she's babysitting, and she's like, I'm gonna go take a nap, obviously to go screw the boyfriend. That'd be funny, watching this movie as a 10, 11, 12-year-old, as a boy, and you think, boy, I can't wait until I can get older. And then you have a girlfriend where it seems like, and the movie portrays the relationship as just like, getting together and having sex, the clothes come off, and that's the only thing, the movie portrays the relationship as being, is just, birthday suits as soon as we get together. And unfortunately there's, obviously probably some relationships really like that, but I just thought it was funny that it just kind of, the boyfriend comes over and they don't talk or anything like that. It's just like clothes come off and they try to have sex with the kids in the other room. And anyway, that's just a funny little anecdote. But the coolest thing, unfortunately, I don't really dig this movie too much. This alien that looks like, alien clone of his dad is, I guess the actor does a good job of portraying the kind of wigged out alien thing as time goes on. The dad, or the clone dad, or whatever the hell it is, you might as well just call this movie Clone Dad. He explains to the son that, I don't think he says I'm an alien, but I've been on a world and had to adapt or, be changed so I could survive on the world. Long story short, the dad has powers, and the dad, I guess, gives the kids the powers, and the kid ends up making this top thing. And I don't know if the top inspires this clown, like little person clown, which I didn't really like because I don't really like clowns. That was kind of creepy. But the one thing I do like, which happened later, I don't know if the kid did this or the dad did this, but there's this neighbor up in the apartment up above or below or something like that, this old crotchety woman or whatever that the kid doesn't really like, and the kid's got this, at the beginning of the movie we see him play with this really cool like soldier figure that's like 12 inches figure or something like that, but later on, I don't know if it's the kid or the dad, alien clone dad that makes this happen, but basically the kid and the old woman have a run-in or something like that not so long later on, the woman opens the door to see this huge man-sized basically version of this is the best scene for me in the movie, a man-sized version of a action figure where he's got this basically action figure face with just beady eyes, and I think he's even got gloves to make it look like his hands are plastic, and whoever was the performer of this soldier, this man-sized soldier, was fantastic and kind of RoboCop-ish, just mechanical movements. I can't remember. I assume that this soldier goes in there and kills this woman or whatever, bayonets her or shoots her or whatever. But there's another scene where like a tank attacks the boyfriend of the sexy French maid. The clown little person attacks the sexy French maid, and then a little tank, RC, like remote controlled tank, chases down the sexy French girl's boyfriend. I think the tank kills him, shoots, shells, blows up the, whatever, fixture in the hallway. Long story short, not too impressed, I'm afraid, with what I'm going to pronounce as Xtro. I mean, I guess it wasn't what my expectations were. I just kind of, I don't really like, I feel like in a way, I mean, the guy who portrayed, the alien clone dad did a great job, but long story short, it's just kind of I guess I can't say it's a lame attempt at doing a sci-fi movie, but by maybe not having enough of a budget to, do like an alien thing throughout the whole movie or whatever, they actually just have a guy be an alien. I don't know. I don't really like human people playing aliens necessarily, like Starman and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this movie's like a combination of Starman and, I can't remember. I was watching it and thought it was a combination of Starman and something else, I forgot, but Starman and whatever. But I'm going to go 1 3/4 stars out of 4 stars for Xtro. I mean, it turns out there's like 2 or 3 or 4 of these movies, I'm not sure, but holy cow, the DVD, from what I can tell on Amazon, is currently out of print, and on Amazon for upwards of $70. If anyone wants to buy it, I kind of wouldn't recommend it. So, to each his own. I mean, obviously the person who recommended me to review this is a fan of it. Everyone can't love every movie, and stuff like that. Maybe, I was just going to say, maybe if I had seen it when I was a kid, I'd like it more, but I don't think so. I just, I was and am more of a fan of stuff like, where it's just got like hardcore production design like Saturn III, where it's got a cool robot throughout the whole movie and cool production design, and not really too big of a fan of like a sci-fi movie that just takes place in a normal town and normal people, and has got this guy's just an alien or a clone dad or whatever, and whatever. So that was Robert Shea's executive produced opus of before. This was like 2 years before his runaway success of Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I say, I don't know if he produced this out of the, from the start, or if he picked it up midway or after the fact and just distributed it. I don't know. I don't know the particular specifics about this particular movie, but that's my take on it. At the end, the boy gets kidnapped by alien and taken away. I imagine they do something with that in part 2. I don't know. I don't really have any kind of necessarily an interest to see part 2, I'm afraid, or any of the other ones, because I didn't really like the first one too much. So that's my take on it. The best stuff is like the little sci-fi theme, and the best thing for me, once again in closing, is that the actor inside the man-sized action figure thing with just a blank creepy ass expression, just basically an action figure mask that the guy's wearing, and does a fantastic job at whatever. So that's what I think I thought of. It was like the scene in Close Encounters when the aliens are landing and all the toys are going goofy. It kind of reminded me of someone watching that movie and going, oh, I want to make a movie about an alien who gives this kid a power to control toys and that way, and make toys kill people and stuff. So, yeah, so not a huge fan of it, but what the hell. I'm just glad I was able to see it for free, obviously, and you know, probably not going to be watching it too often. The French maid helper girl in the movie is like, ooh la la, you know. I recognize her from something else. I'm sure I've seen her in something else, but you see her, you know, bare breasts twice actually in the movie, not just once but twice. So thank you very much for watching this review, and to the person who recommended the review, thank you for the recommendation. Anyone watching, feel free to recommend a movie for me to review, and if I've seen it or if I can see it for free, I will definitely review it. I'm not going to watch stuff I don't have an interest in. You know, if I don't have an interest in what you recommend, I'm afraid I'm not going to watch it to review it. But you know, so there. And the chances are I've seen it. You know, just because I haven't reviewed it doesn't mean I haven't seen it. It means there's not enough time to get to everything. So thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time.